Hello and welcome back to GoldStockTrades.com. Today we have with us George Salamis, CEO of Edgewater Exploration. Edgewater can be traded as EDW on the Venture Exchange. Thanks, George, for being here with us today.
Jed, great to be back on the show.
George, can you tell us about the recent announcement from the Enchi Project in Ghana containing an inferred resource of 749,000 ounces of gold?
That's correct. We've had a steady stream of announcements, as a matter of fact, out of Ghana. The first one prior to the announcement of the resource was the sort of official cementing, if you will, of our joint venture arrangement with Kinross. So we've now fully vested our 51% interest in the project, having spent $5 million to earn that position over the last 2 years. So what you saw on May 22nd was an announcement that joint venture is now official with Kinross. On a go-forward basis, we're funding the project on a 51-49% basis. 51% of the expenditures are ours to bear, 49 Kinross's. We continue to operate the project going forward. We manage exploration on the ground. So that was that announcement. And then even more important in my mind was the announcement of the first resource estimate on the Enchi project that it has ever been put public. And that was a result of 25,000 meters of drilling that we've conducted over the last 2 years, which resulted in what was quite a positive surprise to us in the end of the day. The banner says 20 million tons of inferred resources on the project, grading 1.13 grams per ton, to contain a total of about 750,000 ounces of gold on the project. The guidance that we had given our shareholders previously was in the order of 500,000 ounces, so that was quite a positive surprise to us coming out of Ghana.
And the Enchi project, this is nearby the Kinross's Chirano Mine. Can you tell us about the Chirano Mine and where Enchi is located near?
Sure. Chirano started its life probably about 10 years ago, very much along the lines of what Enchi looks like today. It was a very shallow oxide or saprolite resource that was identified by the previous owners, that being Redback. It was a resource in the order of about 1 million ounces, which is close to what we have today at Enchi. And it was mined in a series of shallow open pits, which is what one could envisage potentially at Enchi as well. So the starting point for us at Enchi is excellent for this resource, the first resource out of the gate, looking very much like Chirano looked back in the day. Chirano is obviously a much bigger ore deposit. 5 million ounce resource is what Chirano is today. Very long life mining operation. Started out as an open pit, now mining the bulk of their reserve underground. Again, a lot of similarities between the two areas.
Are you looking to follow up drilling on Enchi?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have a $3 million program outlined for the balance of this year. Obviously, we're on the hook for 51% of that. Kinross has agreed to 49% of that. The working relationship there with Kinross is excellent. And basically the plan is very simply put to step out marginally on what we've defined on a resource base now of 750,000 ounces. We've modeled those zones as part of the resource estimation exercise. We know where they're trending, and we're going to be basically stepping out on what's known there to hopefully increase the resources from where they are today.
George, tell us what it's like operating in versus some of the other countries in Africa.
When we first got into Ghana, sort of doing a bit of intel, talking to some of the other countries there, it was sort of described to us as South Africa light, if you will. A great place to operate, great rule of law for mining companies to operate in. Companies like AngloGold Ashanti, Goldfields have been operating there for 15, 20 years, operating successfully, working hand in hand with the government, paying the royalties, paying taxes to the government. Gold mining is a big revenue generator for Ghana. Things work very, very well. Importing things like drills into the country doesn't take a long period of time. There's a huge amount of mining infrastructure in the country now. It's a very easy place for one to operate in.
Okay, let's move to Spain. You just released results on the infill drilling at Corcoesto. Is this in line with expectations?
In fact, it exceeds our expectations. One thing that the readers of the latest press release, which came out with some of the infill drilling results at Corcoesto, Spain, one thing that the reader won't get a sense of, but we get a sense of, is how these zones of infill are actually shaping out and reshaping the resource model as previously defined. What we're noticing is that there are areas that we thought were confined to specific structures are now larger and better grade in some respects at certain depths. So net, as good or better than we expected in terms of what we've managed to define in the infill drill program.
Let's talk about Spain. Tell us what it's like operating in Spain. You know, we're hearing about the debt problems and the banking problems in Spain, but can you tell us what it's like operating from a mining perspective now that you're bringing Corcoesto into feasibility?
Yeah, sure. I mean, all the sort of banner sort of headlines that you read in the press about Spain and Spain's economic condition, that certainly those are sort of daily headlines in the Spanish press when you're over there. In fact, I just got back from having spent a week over there with our engineers and a few of the banks. So the country is very definitely in a state of crisis. The discussions that we have with the local politicians and the local mayor, who is our strongest supporter for the project, they're very, very keen to resolve their unemployment issues in the area where we're planning to develop the Corcoesto deposit, subject to the bankable feasibility study. We're looking at unemployment in the order of 40% amongst that sort of key 18 to 30 range of males. So they're looking to us to help resolve that problem, which is why they're really giving this project a serious push at the government level in Galicia.